Hello, people of the internet. I'm Jontje. I'm autistic, and what I wanted to talk about today was friendships, basically. Which is obviously a huge topic, and it's okay. Bye, cat. Well, I'm probably not going to be able to cover everything in one 6-minute video. But anyway. And what I've found is that actually, as a consequence of being autistic, I at least have always had little to no friends. Which of course sort of depends on the definition, which I will get to in a moment. But already I think I have just saying I don't have any friends, which I would sort of consider true for myself at the moment. That's already sort of, I think often people already think, or neurotypical people seem to think that is already something you shouldn't say about yourself, because they sort of, I guess, it holds some sort of negative judgment, which I've always found a bit weird, to be honest, because it's just a statement of fact. But apparently it's not. And at the same time, people sort of seem to, if I ever do say that, it seems to discourage people from talking to me for some reason, which I don't really get. But anyway. And I've also always sort of been made to kind of feel bad about that, or it's always been suggested to me that I should feel bad for having either just one or two or no friends, by teachers and family members and just generally society. And I mean, which is, I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm over that. I don't really care anymore. Because it's just not entirely in my control. So what am I supposed to do about that? There's a limited number of things that I can do, because, well, being friends with someone takes two people, and so for me to have friends, someone else has to want to be friends with me. And I don't know, I haven't met an awful lot of people who wanted to be friends with me, so, you know. But again, there already the definition of when you are actually friends with someone, or when that term is applicable, it varies a lot, and people sometimes get, well, you can insult people by saying they're not your friends, but at the same time, sometimes people get weirded out by you saying they are your friends because they don't feel that they are, and so there's supposedly you are somehow magically able to tell whether you're friends with someone, and that's just not the reality. And then you end up constantly insulting people for either not calling them friends or calling them friends, and sometimes it's just easier to just not do anything. And the thing is that it's often partially because the definition isn't really, there isn't really a clear definition, I think, or I've heard a number of definitions, or honestly I don't think I have heard any definition from anybody. I just sort of made up my own, because, well, there apparently isn't a clear one. And so, at least for me, that's a friend is someone who you spend time with, and spend time with outside of specific reasons for spending time with. So you sort of in school and in university and so on, or in sort of any place where you sort of are forced to be or have to be, there's always, you need to, you always, or a lot of the time, well, not even a lot of the time, but anyway, there's sort of people that you know and you sort of get along with there, and, well, you kind of are, in some places at least, you have to have certain people to sit with at dinner, so you don't get, completely bullied for not sitting with anyone, or there aren't any free tables where you could sit alone, so you need to know someone you can sit with. So, but that's not really friends, because, well, you're sort of forced to hang out with each other, I guess. I wouldn't really call that friendships. It's only a friendship if you then choose to spend more time with each other than that. And that doesn't seem to happen a lot, partially because there isn't really a clear way to get to there. And, well, there aren't always that many autistic people, so sometimes you don't really have, or you don't meet those other people, or you just don't get along with the specific other autistic people who would have the same problem, or because they have the same problem, you don't even get to know them. And so sometimes, or even with some other autistic people, I found that, because if you're already in the position where you don't have friends, and then you meet someone else who you would like to become friends with, or at least become better acquainted with, they don't necessarily want the same thing or have the same sort of need. That sounds a bit strong, but because they usually, I think that's pretty much always been the case for me. They have more friends than I have, and so that creates a sort of imbalance where I end up spending way more effort into that friendship than they spend, because it's just not that important to them, because they have other people and I don't. And of course also they also then need to separate their time between all of their friends, and I don't. I just have I have more time in the end at my disposal in a way, or more sort of mental space to dedicate to that friendship, which creates a sort of imbalance, which I always find kind of uncomfortable and sort of difficult, a very difficult situation, because I don't really know how to act then. Because then the problem is that, especially either if it's if the other person is not autistic, or if they're autistic but masking, usually they're sort of not saying what exactly their purpose is for spending time with me in any sort of environment, and so it's very difficult to judge whether they actually have any interest in becoming friends or not. So then in the end, those things can sort of just never develop into any real friendship because, well, nobody is saying what they actually want, which, I don't know, it annoys me. So that was, I think, all I wanted to say. I feel like this was a very autistic video. I'm not sure. It might also be because I'm slightly burned out still. And I had a migraine today. So yeah. But anyway. Also, it's Valentine's Day. Yay. Well, actually, I was kind of on topic there, I think. I'm gonna count that as on topic. Maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't. Okay, alright. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I don't know, that may be the wrong word. I hope you found this video interesting, and I would very much appreciate it if you would come back next Friday, if you would subscribe or maybe like this video, or maybe even just come back next Friday for the next one. Yeah, that's it. Bye.